Good morning. I'm Rachael Ong, and I'm the wife of Pastor Andrew Ong. I'm the mother of Avi, and I have another baby on the way who's due here in just 6 more weeks. Today, I want to share with you what God reminded me of in the midst of COVID and us getting ready to move to Vietnam, and then just also having another baby. So, this summer, I've been studying, reading, and meditating on how to conquer anxiety and fear and just feelings of being overwhelmed. In one of my quiet times, I came across Isaiah 43:2, which says, "When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. And when thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee." So after reading this, a memory had come to my mind of when I had first read this verse and it had stood out to me. I had just started dating Andrew Ong and I really wanted to impress him. So I said that I would like to do a triathlon someday. Well, he took that as now and decided to sign me up for one, which there was a big problem. I didn't actually know how to swim, and I had only 6 months to learn how to swim and then swim a half a mile in a lake. And the last time I had swam in a lake, I was 16, and I almost drowned at that time. So I was really nervous about swimming in a lake. The night before the race, I read Isaiah 43:2, but then the day of the race came. The water was just really choppy and it was windy and it was cold. I was the last wave of swimmers into the lake, and the wind and waves made it a really big struggle for me to even just reach that very first buoy. I got blown off course, and I finally made it to the first buoy, and there was a whole bunch of people clinging to this buoy when a lifeboat came up and started to pull people out of the race. But I knew that I would never live it down with Andrew if I gave up. So I was the only one to continue. But then again, I was in trouble again. With every stroke, the wind and the waves were just coming over my head, and I was having a really hard time breathing and catching my breath and just really struggling in the water when all of a sudden two lifeguards just came up beside me, and one introduced himself and told me his name was Ron, and he let me rest on his life board, and he taught me a different stroke in the water so I could continue swimming without the waves taking my breath away. But at one point, I was so cold and so tired that my leg was just cramped up. I could barely move. And I told Ron, I said, I can't go on. Just pull me out. But to my surprise, he told me no. And he said, "Rachael, you're going to make it." And I just cried to him and I said, "No, it's too hard. It's too far." I could see the shore was just so far away. And he told me, um, "Don't look at how far you need to go. Don't look at the shore. Just keep your eyes on me." He said, "Swim to me." And so he would just get a few paces in front of me and I would swim to him. And we just did this over and over again. He just kept reminding me, "Keep your eyes on me, swim to me," until we finally made it close to the shore. And then he told me, "You've got this. Finish hard, finish strong." And then he just swam away. And I swam as hard as I could, and I made it to that shore. And I turned around and I looked back, and I couldn't see Ron anymore. But I knew in that moment that God had been faithful to me and that he had kept his promise that he would be with me when I passed through the waters. God also, he reminded me of that at that moment to remind me now in this stage of my life that I need to keep my eyes on Jesus through these difficult times and trying times and overwhelming moments of just thinking about going through labor again and packing up my whole life and moving overseas, and just with COVID going on and just everything going on. And it just reminded me that, sometimes the shore or the end of the race of this life can just seem really far away, and the trials that we face can make us want to give up. We might even say, "I just want out of this race of life. I'm done. I can't go on anymore." But Jesus is telling us something very different. He's saying stay focused. Don't focus on how far you have to go or be distracted by just life circumstances and just the noise around us, but to stay focused on his word and his truth, and just to stay focused on him. And so, just thinking about it and meditating on it, I just, realized again that it's our heart and our mind and our eyes that need to stay focused on God's truth. So in Psalms 25:15, it says, "My eyes are ever towards the Lord. He shall pluck my feet out of the net." Psalms 141:8 says, "But mine eyes are unto thee, O God the Lord. In thee is my trust. Leave not my soul destitute." And then Isaiah 26:3 says, "Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee." And then my favorite chapter, Psalms 27:8 says, "When thou saidst, Seek ye my face, my heart said unto thee, Thy face, Lord, will I seek." Right now, there's just a lot of loud voices going on in media and social media. Everyone's got an opinion, and it's overwhelming and confusing sometimes, and truth gets twisted, and it leaves room for us to feel worried and anxious. But we need to remember, let God be true and every man a liar. We need to pray and ask God to open the truth of his word to us, and to keep our mind, our eyes, and our hearts set on his truth, which is his word. We need to also just be careful about what we allow our eyes and our minds to dwell on. In Psalms 101:3 says, "I will set no wicked thing before mine eyes. I hate the work of them that turn aside. It shall not cleave to me." We also just need to remember that God is not distant, and his eyes are on us, and he's for us. Proverbs 15:3 says, "The eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good." And 1 Peter 3:12 says, "For the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers. But the face of the Lord is against them that do evil." And finally, we need to remember that we have hope that God will be there with us in the midst of our storms. Psalms 46 says, "God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the sea, into the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof, Selah, there is a river. In the stream thereof shall make glad the city of God, the holy place of the tabernacles of the Most High. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God shall help her in that right early. The heathen raged, the kingdoms were moved. He uttered his voice, the earth melted. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge, Selah." So just remember, this has been a hard year for a lot of people. A lot of trials, losses of jobs, COVID, and then I was pregnant on top of it, and I'm giving birth in 6 weeks. But just remember to keep your eyes on the Lord, and that he'll be with you in the water, and they won't overtake you, and that God is our refuge, and that we can turn to him in our very present time of trouble. So that's just what I've been learning this summer. Thank you for listening, and I just hope everyone has a good time at family camp. And I'll talk to you all later. Bye.